So this morning we have author and educator Dr. Amy Alamar here to tell us how parents can talk with their kids about this really difficult topic. Thank you so much for being here this morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So, I'm sure that kids are maybe seeing it on their phones or on TV. How do you take those headlines and then kind of break it down for them?
Yeah, it's really important, and you want to do it in age-appropriate ways. So you want to think about how old your kid is and what they are seeing, and really start the conversation where they're ready to enter it, right? If you're talking with kids who are really aware of it, you want to be clear on what is the definition here, right? What is assault? What is harassment? It's an abuse of power, and it can happen in all different ways, right? So it doesn't have to be sexual. And so really being clear with them about that, and have they experienced anything even similar to it to get them to understand. Showing them examples is great in the media right now, and talking to them and being really clear about it's okay for them to ask questions and come to you.
Now, if they're not talking about it with you, should you still bring it up with them?
Yes, absolutely. You want to definitely start that conversation if you haven't already. So you want to start early and have it often with almost every conversation with your kids.
What age group do you start at?
Yeah, well, where they're ready, right? So if they're asking questions when they're very young, go ahead and start it. If they're not seeing this stuff and they're not interested, then the conversation's more about, what is appropriate, right? So when you go to the doctor might touch you in different places. Mom's in the room, dad's in the room, this is okay. Kind of talking about consent and good touch, bad touch, things like that, where it's really black and white for them. As they get older and they're experiencing other issues, maybe in friendships, trust, intimacy, you want to talk about, how much do you trust somebody? Are they abusing their power in a relationship? Things like that, a teacher, and talking about it in that way. So it's not always going to be sexual harassment and assault, but this is a great way to start the conversation.
Can you talk about it too much? I mean, how much is too much for them?
Well, I think your kids would tell you, yes, you could talk about anything too much. They stop listening after about 30 seconds.
Right.
So that's why I say early and often. You definitely just want to make it a comfortable conversation. You don't always have to go so deep. And I think that's why it's kind of a fun thing to use television as an example, because you can kind of pause and talk about choices being made or things that are happening to characters, and it takes it away from reality. And it's like, okay, mom, enough. But now you're talking about something else.
That's right.
Yeah.
Are there any statistics out there that kind of show how talking with kids can help?
Yeah, the more you talk with your kids and that they're armed with information, the less likely they are to make risky decisions and engage in risky behaviors. So actually, your silver bullet in parenting is time spent with kids, family time. So the more time you're with them, you're engaged with them, you're disconnected, and you're talking with them, the research suggests that your kids are more likely to come to you and talk to you and share with you, and also engage in less risky behaviors.
How do you do that when sometimes, especially in those teenage years, they're not as willing to do the family fun stuff?
Yeah, so carve out time. It can be as simple as family dinner. It could be 20 minutes, 5 days a week. It could just be that. And if you're struggling for that, it can be, weekend brunch, or get out there in this beautiful weather, right, for a walk. So you make it, you carve it out, and that is family time. You don't have to call it family time, but you do something that they want to engage in too.
Exactly. Maybe their favorite restaurant or something. Well,
Yeah.
Dr. Amy Almer, thank you so much. Some great
Yes,
advice.
thank you for having me.